Hey everyone, this is Anam. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be explaining the poem Fire and Ice from the book First Flight of Class 10. I'll be explaining all the poetic devices also. Fire and Ice is written by Robert Frost, who was a very famous American poet, and he's the only poet to receive 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. Fire and Ice is a short poem which deals with 2 possibilities of destruction of the world. Let's begin. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So in this poem, the poet is talking about how the world will come to an end. What will be the cause of its destruction? Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. The poet says that there are some people who believe that the world will come to an end due to excessive rise in temperature. It will become so hot that it won't be possible to survive on this planet. On the other hand, there are some people who believe that the world will come to an end due to excessive fall in temperature. The world will become so cold, it will be covered with deadly ice that nobody will be able to survive, and that's how it will come to an end. So these are 2 schools of thought. And then the poet tells his opinion also. It is a symbolic poem. Here, fire is a symbol of excessive desire, passion, anger. Ice is a symbol of hatred and insensitivity. So, in a symbolic way, the poet is saying either the world will come to an end due to excessive desire, uncontrolled passion of people, and if not so, then the world will come to an end due to hatred among people, their insensitivity. From what I've tasted of desire, the poet expresses his opinion also. He says, from what I know of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. So he says that yes, out of these 2 options, I believe that excessive passion, excessive desire is a stronger emotion. It's a very dangerous emotion, and I think it will be the cause of destruction of the world, right? If it had to perish twice, the poet is saying that, but if the earth had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Suffice means be sufficient. So although the poet favors fire, but he doesn't wave off the second option completely. He says that yes, I believe that excessive desire is a very negative emotion. It will lead, it will become the cause of the world's destruction. But hatred is equally powerful. If the earth had to be destroyed twice, if it had to die twice, then hatred is equally powerful to be the cause of its destruction. So in this poem, the poet wants to say that if we let these emotions, these negative emotions like anger, lust, jealousy, greed, hatred, indifference, apathy, so all these are negative emotions, and the poet wants to say that if we let these emotions rule us, if we are driven by our excessive desires and passions, if we can't control our emotions, then these very emotions will cause our destruction. They will lead to our destruction. So we have to learn to control them. So yeah, this is all about it. Let's discuss the poetic devices now. The first device is rhyme scheme. See the first stanza on the right hand side of your screen. Fire rhymes with desire and ice rhymes with fire, desire, and again fire, they rhyme with each other. So the rhyme scheme of stanza 1 will be A, B, A, A. And similarly, by see the rhyme of the last words of each line, you can find out the rhyme scheme of second stanza as well. Next is enjambment. As you can see, after in stanza 1, there is no punctuation mark at the end of first and third line. So it is an example of enjambment. Similarly, enjambment has been used in second stanza also, as there is no punctuation mark at the end of second, third and fourth line. So it is called enjambment when the same idea is continued without a punctuation mark to the next line. It is called enjambment. Next is symbolism. As I have already discussed, here fire is a symbol of desire, passion, anger, and ice is a symbol of hatred and insensitivity. So this poetic device is called symbolism. Next we have alliteration. Repetition of a consonant sound in close connection is called alliteration. See the underlined words which are bold. Some say. Here sir sound is repeated, so it is an example of alliteration. World will end in fire. World will. Ver sound is repeated here, which is also an example of alliteration. I hold those who favor fire. Fir sound is repeated here. So all these are consonant sounds which are repeated in close connection. So all these are examples of alliteration. And please be very careful while tracing alliteration. You will not go by the alphabets, you will go by the sound. So sound has to be consonant. Then only it will be called an example of alliteration. Next is assonance. Assonance is repetition of vowel sounds in the same line. As you can see the underlined alphabets in the last line of stanza 1. I hold with those who favor fire. Hold those. So as you can see the underlined alphabet O. So hold those. O sound is coming here. It is O sound is used here. Hold those. So it is an example of assonance, which is a vowel sound. Which if it had to perish twice. So first line of stanza 2, if it, E sound is repeated here, which is a vowel sound. So it is another example of assonance. Next is anaphora. First and second line of stanza 1, this first and second line, both these lines start with the same word some. So it is an example of anaphora. When two or more than two consecutive lines start with the same word, it is called anaphora. Next is imagery. Imagery means when you read something and it evokes imagination in the reader's mind, it creates a picture, right? So imagery has been used by the poet here. When we read the poem, it creates a picture in the mind. We see the earth is engulfed in fire, or it is covered with deadly ice, right? So such kind of pictures are created in the reader's mind. So it is called imagery. That's all about it. I hope you must have understood the poem. If you liked the video, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.